Well, good morning, everybody, again, and thank you for joining us for the youth session for our Leadership Learning Assembly. We've got several that will be sharing about our different programs that we offer in District 5190. Gordon Beatty, our co-chair with youth programs with myself, is on the call and also be talking about some of our youth programs, but a lot of this is really geared for us to just learn about what our programs can do within the clubs that we offer within the district. Those that we have speaking today, we've got Gordon Beatty, we've got Karen Shimamoto. Oh, I'm always saying that wrong. We've got a RYE past student. We've also got a video clip from one of our past Regal students, Guy Least, about RYE program, and a former host family, Alan Kane, but I haven't seen him get on the call yet. So we have a video from Argentina, but we're not sure if it's going to be able to play. So Alan Kane says he's getting on. All right. Okay. And again, the key really is to make sure everybody's aware, what programs we offer, what impact we can have in our communities with our youth programs, with the schools, as we build relationships with those that we're working with, from the schools all the way to the families, which can potentially increase our membership and then can potentially increase our foundation giving, which allows us to get the grants that we need to offer a lot of these youth programs. So the 8th grade leadership program, this is really, in my mind, this program is one of those programs that really epitomizes what happens when Rotarians get together to bring a new idea and concept to Rotary, and how the Rotarians rallied behind it. I mean, this program started with the schools in Sparks, then the schools in Reno Sparks, and then it advanced all the way out to the district, now with offering 2 weekends in September at a camp at Camp Grizzly. And we'll talk a little bit more about that. But again, it's a program where the students are selected by their schools, and the schools will then send the students off with a school mentor to Camp Grizzly. And we do have Karen here, who's one of our co-camp directors. Karen, I see you on the screen somewhere, that can talk about the program itself and the involvement. Karen, where are you at, my dear? There you are, you're muted. Karen.
You want me to talk about it now?
Yeah, so why don't you share with those that are joining us today just about the program, what the club's responsibility is, and how they can be involved before, during, and after the students go to Regal.
Okay, well, our Rotary 8th grade leadership program, called Regal, is a District 5190 unique program. And we ask our Rotary clubs throughout the district to sponsor a middle school of 5 students. And but we, instead of like Ryla, where the Rotary clubs are selecting them, we want the principal and his or her staff to select 5 students. And they come as a team. As 8th graders, they're a little young to sort of be ready for team leadership by themselves, but together they work together very well. So we offer it in September for a 3-day weekend. The schools coordinate with the Regal coordinators, work with the schools. We sign them up, and some of them bus them from area 4 and 5. Others, Rotary clubs bring them, and they spend 3 days with Dean and Rochelle at Grizzly Creek Ranch, get to undergo the ropes course. And the team on Sunday puts together a service project that they take back and do something for their school to show and demonstrate their leadership. We also have on Sunday graduation. Parents actually come, and oftentimes for the parents, for the very first time in their lives, hear their child walk before an audience of sometimes 300 people and explain what Regal meant to them, what they learned, and what their goals might be. So it's quite a weekend, and we really love it when our Rotary clubs sponsor these schools and give the kids support once they get back home.
Karen, what's the cost per school that a club sponsors?
The cost is $1,600 for 5 students. And it's a sort of jam-packed 3-day weekend.
And right now we have 2 weekends coming up in September.
Yes.
We have week 1 still needs to have some more camps. What are the dates there, Karen?
September 17 to 19 is Regal 1, and we still have room there. And in Regal 2, which is September 24th to 26th, we're right at full. We're at 95% full.
Nice, nice. I can say that I've been to the camp many times, from when it was held at the Nugget to being held up at Camp Grizzly. And when Karen mentioned the students getting up and sharing their takeaway from being at this camp, I think the one thing I've heard over and over and over is the students have learned to not judge the book by the cover. And to me, what an amazing takeaway to be able to get at such a young age. And it's the Rotarians that send these kids there, that work with them there and then afterwards, that I think just make the biggest impact. And speaking about impact, we've got a student that Sydney's going to fire up here for us. Nicole Walsh was one of our very first students that attended the very first Regal when it was at the Nugget. It was 4 Sparks schools. She attended Shaw Middle School then, and she attended, I stayed in touch with her over the years because she went to Ryla and did a scholarship, and she's in law school, so couldn't be with us today. She's got a big exam today. So Sydney, if you could fire up her. Now I've got to stop my share, right?
Yes.
And then you're going to share. Okay.
Perfect. Okay.
Thank you, Sydney.
You're welcome.
Hi, everyone. I just wanted to thank you for the opportunity to speak with you today about my Rotary interaction and involvement within the Rotary system. Unfortunately, I'm not able to be there with you guys at the same time, but thankfully we have this technology where I can still share my story with you. So my first interaction with Rotary came when I was in middle school. I was selected to attend the Regal program, and it changed my life. This is the time when I knew how much community service meant to me, and Rotary gave me an outlet to explore those options and give back to the community that I grew up in and has given me so much. As I went into high school, I continued on with Rotary, staying into close connection with the Rotary members I had met, especially Tina Spencer. And my senior year in high school, I was selected to attend the Ryla program, and this could not have come at a better time. It helped me find my voice. It helped me see what I wanted to do with my life, and it changed the course of my life, honestly. Later that summer, I was able to go back to Regal as a counselor and help mentor the middle school children, and it was just a great opportunity to use what I had learned and share it with others. But my Rotary interaction doesn't end there. I continued on through my undergraduate program. I was lucky enough to receive the district grant from the Rotary 5190, and I'm so thankful. It helped me be able to attend undergraduate program and cover some of those expenses. And since then, I have been able to graduate from the University of Nevada, Reno with my major in criminal justice and double minoring in political science and substance abuse treatment. I've since gone on to where I am currently a law student at the University of Nevada, Las Vegas, Boyd, and I'm currently in my first year. And by the time you're watching this, that is why I will not be there. I will be taking a law school exam, so hopefully you're having a better time than I am. And I'm just so thankful for Rotary and what it's done for me, and the doors it has opened, the opportunities it has given me, and to truly find my way and give back to the community. Thank you all, and I hope I get to meet you someday soon.
Isn't she just delightful? Just delightful, I tell you. Now I got to go back to my share, go back to where we were. Okay. Well, it takes you back to the beginning. So, but isn't that amazing just hearing just from one of our very first students, how far they've come. To me, as a Rotarian, that is just so inspiring to be able to see the impact that we've had on our youth and where she's going. And like I said, I say it over and over, our youth, they're our future, our future. So Ryla, who do we have here? Talking about Ryla. Gordon Beatty, one of our co-chairs up there. Where's Gordon at? There you ready, Gordon?
I didn't know I was talking about
Oh, well,
Ryla.
I can talk about Ryla then. You want me to talk about Ryla? You're the co-chair.
I can talk about it all
Yeah.
day long.
Talk about Ryla.
Yes, it's very exciting. We're going forward with Ryla this year. Thank God. But we still have vacancies left, and I heard Anita on her talk about the vacancies that we still have in Ryla. It might be wise if you have the person who wants to go to Ryla to check with the clubs in your area to see if we can use their places to send a student of our own, rather than just take the place, ask permission from the club who is sponsoring, who maybe can't find students. Ask them if it's okay if we send a student in their place.
And this year we've got, it's open to high school juniors going into the senior year and seniors.
Juniors and seniors both. Because we had seniors that couldn't go last year.
So Gordon, is the seniors that are attending this year, that are being allowed to attend this year, is that just a 1 year compromise thing that's being done?
We have not, that decision has not been made.
Okay. And the cost for each club, Gordon, to send a Ryla student?
It's at 700 and
Is it 750, 779?
750. I
Yeah.
think 750 was what it was.
Okay. And like Gordon said, we're always looking for volunteers that want to be a counselor up at Ryla. The counselors up at Ryla, Sydney, are you going to be a counselor this year?
No.
We
I would love to be.
We're looking for you.
I hate to say this because we have too many counselors in our pool.
This year you have too many counselors. That's a good thing.
We have too many. So we will have a whole list of counselors available hopefully for the next several years.
That's a good problem to have.
Yeah, it was a good problem to have.
Get your name in there, Sydney. You'd be a great counselor.
Yeah, definitely do that, Sid.
All right, and we'll be answering some questions too. If you have questions at the very end, we'll answer some questions there. And now we've got our Rotary Youth Exchange program. Now, Guy Leese is going to share a little bit about the exchange program, what it entails, and then we're going to hear from one of our previous host families about the exchange program. And I'll let Guy talk about our program this year. Guy, for 2021, it's been suspended, correct?
Yeah, unfortunately, the program for 1920 and for 2021 have been suspended by Rotary International because of the pandemic. However, that doesn't mean that we who are involved in the Rotary Youth Exchange program have nothing to do, because starting in August and September, we're going to be recruiting students from our local high schools who would be going on exchange in like August of 2022. So there's still work to be done. We'll be working throughout the year, signing those kids up, going through orientations, preparing them to go abroad, doing language training programs and that sort of thing to help them prepare for their year on exchange. So it's still going to be a busy year for the District 5190 Rotary Youth Exchange Committee, and we hope for the clubs in our district to participate. Tina had asked me about talking about why every club should participate in Rotary Youth Exchange. And I thought maybe it'd be appropriate to start out by talking about why is Rotary involved in a youth exchange program at all? The United States, through the United States State Department, decided many years ago to embark on some exchange programs with countries in Europe right following World War II to try to improve the sort of relationships between countries as a result of World War II just tearing the world apart. And they felt by sending students abroad, they could really make a difference in the long term about relationships between these countries. So Rotary got involved because part of what Rotary is interested in is trying to improve the opportunities for peace and better understanding between countries. So the Rotary Youth Exchange program has grown over the years to where we have about 8,000 students going on exchange every year. In our program, it costs about $7,500 to sign up for this. But for a family to pay $7,500 and have their kids go to an exchange in Europe, South America, or Asia is about half the cost of most of the other exchange programs, and some are even more expensive than that. And it's because it's being run by volunteers. And while it may seem expensive when you think about the cost of having your kids at home, perhaps it doesn't look so expensive after all. And our students actually receive an allowance while they're on their exchange abroad. So there's actually some money paid to them while they're there to help reduce those costs. So we have about 8,000 students who go on exchange, and they don't just go from the United States to another country and back. These are exchange programs that are worldwide. It could be kids going from Sweden to Switzerland, from Thailand to Taiwan. It could be going from Brazil to Belgium. It's just all over the world. We also offer a short-term program in the summer that's just a 30 to 60 day program that we're going to try to expand in our district. There's a quote that we use in the program that life begins at the end of your comfort zone. For young students between the ages of 15 and a half and 18, this is a journey that will open many doors and many opportunities for kids to connect, to explore their world, to learn, and certainly to grow. An international exchange program will change their lives. They'll become bilingual and bicultural. They will develop a much greater appreciation for the United States, but also for the history and culture of their host country. They'll develop a new thirst for travel and find this inner courage that they can go anywhere at any time and enjoy their experience. This year-long journey will give them an opportunity to find this courage to just go. It'll give them an opportunity for self-analysis. They'll become more open to other ways and other cultures and other thoughts. They'll become more patient and more understanding of the world in which we live, and they'll have a lot of smiles. And then they'll come home. And when they arrive, they'll come home with new perspectives that will shape their future decisions. They'll have new friends and families from around the world that they will stay connected with, in many cases, for the rest of their lives. They'll develop new ideas for what they might major in college. They'll begin to formulate new thoughts about a career that they may never have considered. And we have found that students coming back from exchange have an opportunity to go perhaps to the college of their dreams that they thought they would never have a chance to go to. We have several examples of kids who didn't think they were going to be able to do something they really wanted to do, but when they applied while they were on exchange, the Rotary Exchange difference got them in. We had a student as an example who was turned down to go to West Point, went on exchange to Germany, and when he was on exchange to Germany, he reapplied and was accepted. We had another student who was planning to go to a local college because he thought that's all he could do. But while on exchange and talking to other students, he realized, maybe I have a chance for something quite different. He applied to Columbia University in New York City and got into an Ivy League school because of the exchange opportunity that came to him. These students will come home with an interest in more of the world to explore, experience, and understand, and they will come home with this new thought that they'd perhaps never considered. The thought is service and the joy you get from helping others, and quite possibly an interest in becoming a Rotarian one day. So why should your club participate in Rotary Youth Exchange? Because, for one, Rotary Youth Exchange program is an international program of Rotary International and is one of many programs that we should all participate in. But more than that, every high school has students who would love to go on exchange. If your club doesn't participate in RYE and you're the club that works closely with that high school, you're denying some student this international experience that they would love to do. Your high school actually will benefit from having an international student on their campus. He or she will bring a new culture for all the students to experience. They'll make friends that can last a lifetime, and these friends will find themselves much more interested in international issues, international languages, food, and culture. RYE also is a great way to recruit new members. Where do you find these new members through the RYE program? You find them as parents of students who are going on exchange. As you work to find host families for the student who would be inbound in exchange for our outbound student, you'll find host families getting more and more interested in what this Rotary Club is doing in our community as a result of their experience as a host family, as Alan will be talking about his experiences in a few minutes. And there are many others in the community who will meet or get to know your inbound student, as well as those who know your outbound students that are prospective Rotary members that your club should consider pursuing. I have a comment from an inbound student who wrote this in May of her year. She wrote, "This is the best decision I've ever made. This is by far the hardest year of my life, but also the best. I truly matured. I found a new part of myself, and I am proud of it. I feel unstoppable now, like the world has been opened for me. I'm not afraid to take opportunities anymore. I've created so many memories and met some awesome people. I am and will forever be so grateful for what this year gave me. Prom is coming soon, then summer holidays, and gosh, I don't want to leave. Can I please come back again next year?" As you can see, RYE connects students to new people, new language, new places, new cultures, to a much bigger world. Rotary Youth Exchange, connecting the world, one person at a time. You and your club need to be a part of this wonderful program.
Thank you, Guy. So Guy, along with the club providing host families, what's the financial cost to a club to have an inbound, outbound student?
Yeah, our club, well, for the outbound student, there is no cost. The families of the outbound students cover the cost of them participating in the program. In exchange, we have the responsibility then to host an inbound student in our club for every outbound student that we sponsor. And our club budget's about $3,000 a year for that. We have an allowance that we give the kids while they're here. It's about $150 a month for their spending money. We also take care of any school expenses that there might be. There might be a bus pass we have to buy for them. They may participate in an athletic program, and there's usually a fee at the high school for them to do that. And because I live in a ski area, we also provide an annual pass for the students while they're here. And if they need it, we will rent equipment for the year for them. So it's about $3,000 a year to participate.
Yeah, I think that's good information for people to know. And up next, I want us to hear from Sydney Sinclair, who actually benefited from both Ryla and the RYE program. So she could share her experiences as that recipient. After Ryla, I got to know Sydney a little bit better because she helped us start the Interact program at the time at the Spanish Springs High School. But take it away, Miss Sydney.
All right. I was also wondering if you wanted me to play Rochelle's video for Ryla.
Yeah, we're going to do Rochelle's at the end.
Okay,
Rochelle's
perfect.
about all the youth programs, kind of closing it out.
Oh yeah, she's great.
Yeah.
Had the opportunity to meet her at Ryla. So, okay, I wrote a little thing here. So hello, Rotarians. It is a pleasure to be here with you all and tell you a little bit about my experiences. I have been very fortunate to be able to be a part of these wonderful programs offered through Rotary. I went to Ryla and it set me up for greatness. I was heading into my senior year of high school and had been elected to be student body president of our high school of 1,600 students. Ryla taught me the skills to have a positive mindset and care for those around me. I became a leader that week at Ryla, climbing structures blindfolded, creating lifelong friendships, as well as breaking down my barriers and building up to the person I am today. I watched fellow students fight through their weaknesses and saw their confidence grow exponentially during an extremely confusing time of a young adult's life. Hopefully, I will be able to be a counselor there in the near future. Turns out it'll be a few years. That's a great issue to have. One thing I also learned about that week was about the Rotary Youth Exchange Program, which I then became a part of after graduating high school. After having a Rotary exchange student in our own home from Denmark, who is now a brother to me, I took off for a life-changing year myself in Brazil. I know I only have a couple minutes to talk, but I could go on for hours about the experiences I had while living abroad. I was able to learn a second language, live with an incredible host family that hosted me the whole year I was there. I was able to travel through many parts of Brazil. I was a part of a 30-day long adventure which traveled the entire coast from Brasilia, the capital, all the way to north and back down to Rio de Janeiro. I have danced in the streets during Carnival and watched the sunset at the Christ of the Redeemer. I will forever be grateful of these experiences while in Rotary Youth Exchange because it has led me to a job opportunity of working with other exchange students in Europe, traveling to 13 different countries in 2 weeks, meeting hundreds of students from around the world, 3 summers in a row. I got the chance to do that. I also did a study abroad in college to Spain, living with another wonderful family, learning a 3rd language. And these programs are so important for the youth in our area and have truly shaped my life. I currently live back in Reno, Nevada as a realtor for Ferrari Lund. If any of you ever want to hear about more experiences from my exchange, please reach out. I could talk for hours about them. And actually one thing Guy said was it leads us to what we're studying in college. So I'm a double major in international affairs and Spanish. So it definitely shaped what I studied in school.
I can't wait to see you host.
One day, I definitely plan on it.
Right? Yeah, and I bet you maybe Regal might could use a counselor. That's a shorter stint, but check with Karen to see if Regal might need a counselor for a weekend of the 8th graders. You'd be awesome at that, Sydney. Yeah,
I would love it. Yeah, I can't say enough great things about it.
Good. Thank you again for being here. Yeah, we'll show Rochelle at the very end. And then we've got Alan Kane. Again, I think just hearing from what it's like to be a host family, I think for most of us as Rotarians, the unknown, none of us, no matter how old you are, we all have that fear of what we don't know. You don't know what you don't know, the unknown of being a host parent. And Alan's been a host family many, many times over. So Alan, share with us your experience about being a host family for the exchange program. Past District Governor Alan Kane, where are you? Are you muted, Alan? You're muted, Alan. Got to unpress that mute button. There you go. Welcome.
Yeah, hello. So yeah, my wife and I have been host parents 5 times now. And interestingly enough, our first experience was back in 89 and 90, before I ever knew about Rotary. The student had come to our local high school. He was put with a family who was going through a divorce, and it became a very uncomfortable place for him. And so our daughter advocated for this young man and asked Jeannie and I if we would consider hosting him after he'd been here just for a couple months. And, you know, we had 2 teenagers at home, so we thought, sure, we could make it work. That was like 5 years before I became a Rotarian. And it was a wonderful experience for us. Thomas Grimm from Hamburg, Germany, has become a son to us. His wife is like a daughter. His 3 boys are like grandchildren to us. And we've been to Germany twice to visit. Subsequently, and upon joining Rotary, Rotary Youth Exchange became very important to us. And unfortunately, our first venture in hosting a student from Belgium didn't work out. The student actually had great difficulties here, didn't want to be here. And so, you know, Ginny and I had to learn how to work with a student who didn't want to be here. And ultimately, after 4 to 6 weeks, Emily was sent back to Belgium. And she has since contacted us and expressed her sorrow at not completing her program, and she realizes her loss. But we just went forward, and shortly after that, we hosted a young lady from Belize who is part of our family now. In fact, she was just here for the entire month of January this year. Following that, we hosted a young man from Thailand. And Bob has chosen not to stay closely connected with us like the others have, but it was very interesting as he shared his culture with us and ours with him. It was a great experience, one that we'll always cherish. And then lastly, Iñaki Otondo from Lobos, Argentina, very much part of the family. He just went home a week ago after being here 5 weeks. He came to spend 2 weeks to visit, ended up here 5 weeks because flights kept getting canceled and canceled and canceled. That was for our benefit. We enjoyed having him. And we have become very close with him and his family. His parents are the same age as our children. And so they kind of see us as surrogate parents, if you would say. And we've been to Argentina twice and plan to go again when Iñaki's sister gets married, hopefully next February. So the bottom line is I almost feel selfish because we gain so much. We love to travel the world. We love to meet people that we can go and visit, become part of their families, and they become part of ours. The opportunity for understanding, goodwill and understanding are just incredible as you spend weeks living with another family, as my wife and I have done with all of our young people that we've had. And so the value is incredible. I often think that my wife and I are getting maybe to the point of aging out as host parents, but at least in our community, we have found it very difficult to find host families for inbound students. And so I'm probably going to get shot for saying this by my wife, but we would be open to hosting again just because of the experience. And as the inbounds are here, we have the opportunity to help them get connected with friends in the community, other families, and just to watch them grow, these young people grow in their confidence has been expressed in through the other programs that the youth services offers. So yeah, you can always count on us to do whatever we can to foster Rotary Youth Exchange.
Thank you, Alan. Yeah, it's a great program, and I'm sure that you'll be able to twist a few arms in your community there when we can get the program back opened again and bring some more students in. So thank you for sharing your story. And next up here, we have Gordon Beatty regarding our Interact, our middle school to high school Interact program, and how the clubs can be involved and what it takes. Gordon, you're up, you're muted. There you go. You guys got a great group up there in your area.
I got it now. Depending on where you are in your experience with Interact, I'd just like to go over a few basics. First, Interact is held at a school usually with students between the ages of 12 and 18. It could be a high school or a middle school. It's great to have both because once they're in Interact in middle school, they look forward to going into Interact in high school. So if you don't have a middle school Interact club in your area, look to some middle schools that might be a possibility that you could install an Interact club there. Each school, let's see, I get lost here sometimes. The purpose of the Interact is to help students develop their leadership skills and to promote community service. And since that's what we do is community service, that's something that they can learn. And once they get involved, they really do want to do more. In my opinion, and this is just my opinion, Interact Club membership is the core of the rest of our programs, because from Interact clubs come Ryla, RYE, Regal, all of those come out of, a lot of students come out of the Interact Club program to do the rest of our programs. So that's just my opinion. Rotary clubs, how do Rotary clubs get involved? Well, if every Interact club has to have a Rotary club sponsor. And so at that point, the obligation is that there has to be a Rotary advisor, there has to be a faculty advisor, and if you have one high school in your area, you can also ask other volunteers from other Rotary clubs to be advisors to your Interact club. The more the merrier. That's what we need to do in some of our areas where we have maybe one or two high school, is to include other members of other Rotary clubs in that process. Give them the experience to work with 17-year-olds. They're a lot more fun than old people, I'll tell you that. I got some notes that I'm gonna refer to a little bit here. Okay, any Rotarian who works with an Interact club has to take youth protection training. And it's very easy to do. I've done it. It's simple, it's easy. And once you do it, you understand what is important about child safety. And it's really good. It's a good process to go through. It reminds you of what your responsibilities are as an adult in a relationship with these young people. Let's see. What does an Interact club do? That's another one that we probably need to talk about. They're usually very self-sufficient, although a sponsoring club may give them financial assistance. Most Interact clubs that I've worked with have not needed financial assistance because they raise their own money. They do their own service projects, and what they want to have is Rotary members work with them in their projects, just like we would like to make sure we include Interact members in our projects. So that's a very important thing. Let's see. The Rotary clubs are self-governing, as I said. Interact clubs are encouraged to complete 2 projects a year, one to serve the community and one that helps in an international project of some type. We've done many things in our area with Project Amigo in Mexico, and it's one of the most enjoyable things for both the students and the advisors who go with them. It's a very similar experience, but with like RYE, only it's very short. It only lasts usually for about a week. I think I've covered almost everything I can think of. I'm sure there'll be some questions later, but I think that's it for now.
Okay, and like Gordon said too, the youth protection training is vital in knowing what to do and not do in working in any of our youth programs. The district is also coming up with the youth protection management system that everybody will be hearing more about as we get started in the next Rotary year, with getting our Rotarians, regardless of how active they are with our youth, in that database so that we all know that they have been trained, have been cleared, and know the do's and the don'ts of working with our youth. So that's a new program that'll be coming up. So we'll be talking more about that as we get further into the next Rotary year. And of course, we have our speech and music contest that was still done this year. It was done on Zoom. We had contest winners in our areas and at the district level. And some of the smaller areas, clubs get together and jointly host a music or speech contest. So all kinds of creative ways on how our members can still get our youth involved in both and just seeing their talents when it comes to the music and the speech. It's pretty amazing. A lot of our clubs are involved with Scouts, the Girls Who Code. Achievement Beyond Obstacles is, again, another great program. It's done here in the Area 8 area, but it is one of those programs where areas would be more zoned into your own group of schools of students that have overcome major obstacles and yet have still finished high school and are going on to further education. Dean and Michelle also participate in working with those students to really get a grasp on where their future can go and how they can be in control of their future, regardless of the obstacles that they've had. And I do want us to be able to hear Michelle before we run out of time. So Sydney has that video, and it's just a video from Rochelle regarding their involvement with our youth programs from Regal, Ryla, Achievement, ABO, Achievement Beyond Obstacles Program. Rochelle, Sydney, if you can get that up. Oh, I got to let you share. Hold on. Let me stop. Okay, you go.
Okay.
Thank you, Sydney.
Greetings, Rotarians. My name is Rochelle Willems. If you don't know me, I've had the privilege and the honor for the last 14 or so years to be one of the co-directors of Ryla, Districts 5180 and 5190. I'm also one of the co-directors for Regal, our middle school student program, and ABO. It's awesome. All three of those programs have one thing in common: kids. Our future and our present. And today, I know you guys are at your conference and getting excited talking about things moving forward. And so I wanted to share a message with you, a message of gratitude and support. This has been a year. It's just been a year for everybody. My belief is that every single one of you, you've had moments this last year, whether it be canceling off events on your calendar, not getting to see the people that matter to you, maybe not getting to say goodbye. There's been so many changes in this last year for all of us. And while those things are important to recognize, I think equally important is to recognize the gift of this last year. Because I know for me, my life prior to the pandemic was full of comments of, I'll get to that. I'm really busy, but yeah, I want to do that someday. And this last year gave me an incredible pause, the pause button. And what I found in that pause was the opportunity to reevaluate and really recognize what does matter. What are the relationships that matter to me in my life? Where do I want to spend my energy? How do I want to show up in the future? How do I want to show up right now? And what I think is interesting is as our world starts to take form of what our new normal will be, I know there's changes, but I think it's also a vote towards what matters. The frivolous stuff, it gets to go away. But the things that really matter, they get to stay. A few weeks ago, my husband and I sat on the couch in a Zoom call with fellow Rotarians discussing Ryla for this summer. The question had been, can we do it? Will it work? Should we do it? All these questions. And as the conversation got going, pretty quickly we realized it was happening. It's who you are, Rotarians. I always describe you as the army of people that can't be stopped. Because what I know is that when you're passionate about something, you follow through on it. And so Ryla will happen this year. And so will ABO. It just did. And so will Regal. I know that a lot of times you guys, you plan these things out, but many of you, you don't actually get to see them. And sometimes it's hard to hear the impact that you have. I've been speaking with students around the country over Zoom calls. I just did a program with 70 middle school students in Hawaii. And the common theme in all of those calls, kids talking about, I miss connection. I'm lonely. I don't know where I'm headed. I don't know what to do. I think we've all felt that way. What I know is that when we put our energy into these programs, though, it's an opportunity for these kids to come together and to have those experiences. Just recently, we had a call with Ryla students that are coming this year. And I asked the students, just out of curiosity, why? Why do you want to come to Ryla? I got a lot of amazing answers. one answer stuck out. One young man, he shared, he said, you know, so many things in my high school career in this last year have been canceled. Sports, get-togethers, dances, and just class. He said, I never realized how much I'd missed those things. He said, when I heard that Ryla was happening, I'm in. I'm so excited to have this opportunity to learn and to grow. I'm just really excited to be there. Student after student shared that same sentiment. That's because of you. So I wanted to say thank you. Thank you for making the choice to give your energy and support to these youth programs and all the other programs that you're a part of. Thank you so much. Have a great conference.
I love that woman. I love her.
So yeah, a great way to finish up this morning's program. And we have just a minute, if there's a question before we go into the closing session. But I want to say thank you to all of those who facilitated this morning and shared their experiences and engaging others and to want to be involved in our youth programs. Are there any questions that we need to answer before we close this out and go on to the closing? Ron?
Yes, three things. First, for Ryla, we have a RISIF fund. We have blue pigs and we put coins in it, and that's Rotary International Student Fund for emergencies that come up for a student. And then also, as far as Ryla, we're having a problem getting some students. Who do we contact for that if we want to donate a spot? And my third thing is on Interact. You can also, if two schools don't have an advisor, which is tough to find these days, you can have a community-based one. And I'd like to see more. Gordon's done a heck of a great job. I know Bob and I worked on it for a long time, and it'd be nice if the district, if we could see more what's going on in Interact. In fact, quite frankly, I don't know how many active schools we have in Truckee Meadows, but if somehow we could get more information out. But if you could answer the Ryla question right now, and we can move on.
I don't know who was on the call last week. There were, and I wrote it down and now I can't find it, but it was somebody that said she worked with Washoe County and could help us get more students. Gordon, did you get that information, or anybody else get that information last week?
I know there is some, but again, we need to ask the clubs who have these spaces if we can use them. I think that's just something we need to do, but there's probably close to 100 spaces available.
Yeah, Charlie Fettig is our chairperson for this, and he just announced this week that we were still looking for some students, so it's getting kind of close.
If you know Steve Singer, he's processing all the new ones that are coming in. We've had several in the last few days that are still coming in. So if you get a hold of Steve, he can tell you which clubs have people that haven't filled their spots.
Well, it sounds like Ron's club can't fill the spot, so you've got funds that you want to use to help send somebody else, right, Ron?
Yeah, well, in fact, they're paid up from last year.
Yeah, so let Steve Singer know that.
Well, you could give that information to Steve, and he can find people. I'm sure maybe out of our district. We actually have some people from Reading coming this year.
Okay, maybe Tina or you, Gordon, could you send me some contact information on him?
Sure. Yeah, I can take care of that.
Okay. All right, guys. Let's head over to the closeout session. And again, thank you, everyone. And thank you, Sydney, for showing those videos. We had some, I'm so glad I wanted to close out with Rochelle's today. It was perfect closeout. So again, thank you. And any questions with youth programs, you can, in the district, if you go to the district website, you can always reach out to myself or Gordon, and we're here to help. All right. Thank you. Have a good rest of the day, and happy Mother's Day to the moms out there.
Nice job, Tina.
Bye.